Making a wedding cake for a family member is such a beautiful experience. In this video, I'll be showing you how we put together my darling cousin's wedding cake. After we baked the cakes and covered with fondant, it was time to get on with the designs. So I used the harvest stencil to place these design elements on the cake, but I realized that to get the entire stencil to be silver, I had made a mistake, so I had to literally scrape off the design again. So for the second time I did it, and this time around, before I lifted up the stencil from the cake, I painted it silver. But I realized that would take a longer time, or it wasn't as effective as I would have loved it to be, because it didn't come out as sharp. So I had to take a brush and literally painted by hand, one by one. So you can imagine what I went through on this entire cake piece. So you would notice here that I'm actually painting the dragées as well, because I realized that the silver that came from the pack wasn't as intense as I wanted it to be, and I wanted the entire silver to be cohesive, the entire hue of the silver to be as sharp as what I had on the silver or the harvest stencil. So once I had gone past the stage of figuring things out, it was just a lot more quicker to apply the dragées with the royal icing and just placing all the elements where they needed to be, one by one. On day 2 of the decor process, I got some other members of the team to kind of join in so that, working will be a lot faster. And that's me using the silver leaf onto the sides of the cake. To adhere silver leaf onto your cake, you have to make sure that the base or the portion you're applying it on is damp. That way the silver leaves just sticks on and the white piece of paper holding it just comes off easily. Once I had pretty much finished with the basic design, it was time to pack it all up and get it ready for the journey. The wedding was out of town in Ijebu. That's my cousin, by the way. Beautiful bride, isn't she? And that's me on the wedding day, setting up the wedding cake, all alone. I couldn't get any of the staff to come with me because we were really busy back in Lagos. So you can imagine what I had to go through. By this time, and really because of the journey, most of the elements we had placed on the cake had come off from the cake design. So this is me putting every single piece that fell off the cake back one after the other. But hey, it was made with a lot of love. And just before I placed on the third tier, I had to put in some more reinforcement with the dowel rods. Now the dowel rods are pretty much sticks that are made for this purpose, so we drive them into the cake so that the weight of the cake sitting on it doesn't crush the cake we have made, if that makes sense. And before I placed it on, I had to put some royal icing just to adhere the third tier onto the second tier of the cake. And that's our gorgeous 4-tier wedding cake. Look at the detail on this thing. Now just quickly before I finish the cake, I added some glitter dust, sparkly glitter dust. What this does to the design, it just takes it to a whole new level of elegance. The cake is just so gorgeous and it's glittering all over, and I love that effect for wedding cakes and custom cakes in general. And once I had done that, I realized that I needed to put just one more element onto the second tier, just to kind of balance the whole design. And now the cake is ready. And finally, we place the wedding cake knife onto the cake, getting ready for the bride and groom. Thank you for joining me. Happy caking! Now the cake was ready, it was time for me to rush and get ready for the wedding. And that's me. Luckily, I made it to the church in time. What a beautiful day. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. My girls were so excited to be part of the bridal train. It was indeed a beautiful wedding ceremony.